Hi, my name is Kaycee Okuma. In this very short video, I want to share with you how I went from zero interest in IT, zero understanding of IT, to writing my very first AWS CCP Certified Cloud Practitioner exam by preparing in just 1 month. No exaggerations, no BS. In just 1 month of preparation and passing this exam. Stay tuned as I come to you with more details. The world we know is rapidly shifting from what we have always known to something that we don't even know how to describe. In the very early hours of the new year 2021, I began to think about my life and how the year 2020 went. The massive and global disruption of the coronavirus pandemic. That singular incident tore down my business, and it almost ruined me financially. I was just thinking about my life, and I knew the time had come for me to move forward with my life, but I didn't have a clear or distinct direction in which to go with my life. Long story short, I got into this very intense deliberation and discussion with a close relative who challenged me to take up this AWS direction, this challenge to go in this direction. And I decided to check it out for myself. And I went on the internet, I Googled about cloud computing, and I was just blown away by the results that I got. It showed that in the hierarchy, in the ranking of the top 10 most sought after skills in this new age that we live in, cloud computing ranks amongst the first 3. And this showed me that the world has truly shifted in this direction, and would need to reskill and retool and develop ourselves to be very, very relevant in the new age and time that we live in. And that singular incident was what moved me to this direction, to learn cloud computing, and the rest, they say, is history. I began this journey. I actually had that life-changing discussion I just told you about on the 2nd of February 2021, and I made the decision to go in the direction of learning cloud computing on the 3rd of February 2021, and I wrote the exam, my CCP exam, on the 5th of March. That's about 1 month after I made that decision. Now let me say the truth. Before I made this decision to go in this route, I had no understanding of cloud computing. Absolutely no understanding. Now, I'm not saying I've not heard about cloud computing, but I did not really understand what it was all about. I made that decision on the 3rd of February to learn all there is about cloud computing, and then to write the first stage of the exam. And that is what got me into this new position that I am. Cloud computing generally is a very interesting science, if you allow me to call it that. And it's something that I would encourage for anyone who wants to be relevant in the new age that we live in. Now, about the AWS exam specifically, I wouldn't say it's an easy exam, and I wouldn't say it's a very difficult exam, particularly for someone like me who had zero interest prior to this time and who had little knowledge, absolutely no knowledge about the cloud computing sphere. I had to start from the scratch, as it were, and to build my knowledge base. It was really challenging, but it was also very interesting and fulfilling. And I want to encourage you, just in case you're thinking about whether or not you should make this decision, I want to encourage you to take that bold challenge. It could be something that could change your life completely. I would say one of the most important traits that allowed me to pass this exam was I had to develop self-confidence. Now, it goes without saying that if you go into anything in life without the assurance that you have what it takes to win at that thing, chances are the odds are against you, and most likely you won't succeed at that thing. And that's one of the first things I had to cultivate in myself. going into a field that I had little interest in and had zero experience in, I had to first of all assure myself that I had what it took to pass this exam. I had to develop self-confidence in myself. Prior to going into the white papers or watching the videos or listening to other people who had passed this exam, I had to convince myself first of all that I had what it takes to pass this exam. And it's something I want to encourage you to do. No matter how many people tell you you can do something, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have that conviction, personal conviction that you have what it takes to win, you may not win. So self-confidence is very critical. Now, after I decided that cloud computing was the way to go, I went to Google and I began to search about cloud computing, and I saw tons and tons of valuable information, and that was where my journey began in cloud computing. I also had to go to YouTube. There are tons of videos there that would be of immense value to you. I got quite a number of them, and it's not just getting these videos, it's to develop the discipline, cultivate the discipline that is required to sit down and go through every single one of them till the very end. And I've heard a lot of people say they got some of these videos, they were able to watch for like 30 minutes or 1 hour before they got bored. Let me tell you the truth. For the most part, I did not understand most of the things I was watching, but because I had made a decision that I was going to write this exam and not just write it, I had told myself I must pass it. There's nothing like receipting for this exam, taking it the second chance, trying it a second time. I had told myself I was going to write it one time and I was going to pass it. And if I failed it, I would forget everything about cloud computing. But I was sure in my heart that this was the direction for me to go. So I knew I had to burn my bridges, I had to burn my boats, and there was no going back. I just must pass this exam. So go to YouTube and you find tons of information. Just Google how to pass AWS CCP exam and you find tons and tons of information that will be provided to you. And most of this information are free. Now, I use many of these videos for my own training, and I did lots and lots of there are also some sample exam tests that I utilized. They really came in handy. I had to practice for this exam again and again. Now, the truth is, the first time I did the exam, some of these tests, my score was very low, but I had to persist again and again and again. And like they say, excellence comes with habits. You keep doing it and doing it until you get very good at it. That was what I did. Like I had earlier said, one of the things that really helped me to make it in this exam was my determination to succeed. And that determination drove me to cultivate some very unusual disciplines while I was preparing for this exam. I had this discipline of reading every single day for hours. I didn't say 30 minutes, I didn't say 1 hour. Some days I gave it 3 hours, some days I gave it 5 hours. I'm telling you the truth. I was totally immersed in this, because going into something you have no experience in, most times the beginning of the journey is usually very challenging, because many of the things you're hearing, they just sound like Hebrew and Greek to you. I had to persist through that early misunderstanding or lack of understanding of this topic until gradually it began to sink in and my understanding began to deepen in what I was doing. So you need that kind of discipline to continue to read and learn and listen, even when it seems that all you're learning is going into this ear and coming out of the other ear. You just have to persist. This is how you eventually win. So I persisted in learning every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. And sometimes, not always, sometimes I also studied intensely on Sundays. I did this for 4 solid weeks, no break. And then I took the exam and I passed. Now, on the exam proper, I want to encourage you to master the basics as much as you can. Read everything you can and understand everything you can about EC2. about S3, about elastic beanstalk, about lambda. These are core areas of the CCP exam, core foundations, and they are sure to come out in your exam. The shared responsibility model, the well-architected framework. You need to learn and understand these things. The deployment models, your IaaS, your PaaS, and your SaaS. You need to understand them and what they are used for, and when you need to apply them. You need to also read about and understand RDS, DynamoDB. You need to really get a good grasp of these things. They will ask you tricky questions to test your core knowledge and competence of these things, and if you just have only a head knowledge of them, you won't do so well in this exam. I can tell you for a fact. AWS, they you just have to give it to them. They are very good with how they set their questions. Their questions probe to know that you truly understand what it is you are saying, and they would really test to know your depth of understanding of that subject. And many times, of course, you should know this by now, there's multiple choice question and multiple selections where they give you 5 options. You have to choose 2 correct ones, or 4 options, and you have to choose the one correct answer. And sometimes you find a question that all the 4 options that are given are correct. Now, what they are trying to do at such times is to test whether you really understand the specificity of that question and to answer it accordingly. So you really need to read to understand, not read to cram, but read to understand, and that will show in how you do in this exam. The exam is a total of 65 questions, and the time is 100 minutes, about 1 hour, 1 hour 40 minutes, to test your understanding of the foundation of the basics of cloud computing. I would advise you to answer with what you know. The very first day of this exam, when I came into my terminal to write, because I wrote at a Pearson View partner center. When I got to my terminal and my exam time started ticking, the first question it took me by surprise. I was expecting something very easy as the first question, but what I meant that completely destabilized me. I had to gain control over myself and move over to the second question. I had a brief understanding of that. I moved over to the third one, which was clear to me. I answered it. I moved over to the fourth and fifth. What I'm trying to say is, don't try to answer the questions sequentially. Answer according to what you're very sure about the first time, because you should be very conscious of time. You may think that 100 minutes is a lot of time, but I assure you, in an exam like that, if you don't make justifiable use of your time, you run out of time. So I had to start very fast with all the answers that I knew where I was crystal clear about. I was very sure and confident about the answers. Maybe the first time I did this, out of the 65 questions, maybe I was able to answer 25 with 100% confidence and assurance. I knew for sure these were the correct answers. So I had to go back all over to question number 1 that threw me off balance at the very beginning, and that was where I had to start to think. I love this exam because it will make you to think. They want to test your understanding of the subject matter. So I had to think, and that was what really helped me to pull through the remaining 35 or so questions, because I had to think my way through each and every single one of them. And as I was thinking, the correct options were becoming clearer and clearer to my mind. And I want to suggest you follow a similar procedure, or if you have something better, you can go with that. AWS is a pass or fail exam. Immediately you finish answering your 65 questions, if the time permits you to do that, the screen will go blank, and then after a few seconds, your performance will show. If you passed, you see congratulations, you passed. That was what showed on my screen, and I to tell you the depth of joy I felt. It's indescribable, because I knew that all the hard work I had put in had paid off. So it's a pass or fail exam, and so I want to encourage you to put all your attention, all your ability, all your focus towards ensuring that you pass this exam. I wrote the CCP on the 5th of March 2021. Friday, the 5th of March 2021. Today, as I'm recording this video, is the 8th of March 2021, and I have already started preparation for my Solutions Architect Associate exam, and my plan is to write that exam in the month of April, in a month's time. And so I'll keep you posted on my progress. I also want to say that I'm going into this exam, into the preparations, with the same level of confidence, if not more, that I went in when I wrote the CCP. I have told myself I must. It's not I may. I must pass this exam at the very first try. And I want to encourage you to develop such that level of desperation and determination also in your own endeavor. I want to wish you all the best as you take your steps, as you take the necessary steps in this direction to become a cloud engineer, a cloud practitioner, or however far you want to go in this direction. I'm wishing you all the best, and I'm telling you that it's possible if you put your heart to it and you're willing to pay the price. Don't expect it to be easy. Don't expect it to come cheap. Now, there are a lot of videos online that you see people tell you they wrote this exam after 5 days of preparation. Some will tell you they wrote it after 24 hours of preparation. Now, don't expect that to be your lot or to be that easy for you. If you need to use 2 weeks to prepare, please use 2 weeks to prepare. If you need to use 2 months to prepare, please use 2 months to prepare. It's not a competition with anyone. People may challenge you, but realize at the end of the day, it's your exam, it's your test, and it's your pass or fail. And I want to encourage you to take your time to truly understand the subject before you go for the exam proper, and it will really, really raise your chances of passing at this exam. I want to say congratulations to you in advance of your victory. Till I come your way next time, take care of yourself and take charge of your beautiful destiny. Catch ya. Please like and share this video. If you have any question, if you have any comments, please, I'll really, really appreciate it. If you want me to do any video or videos on any particular subject of the CCP exam, please let me know, and I assure you that I'll give it my best shot. Take care of yourself and take charge of your beautiful destiny.